Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my stream. I see I've got a few viewers in here. Yay. Hello. Welcome. Feel free to say hi in the chat. If you are just joining us for the first time, we're working on a pear-shaped halo ring. It's going to be a rose quartz in the middle. Oh, I just woke my dog up because I just started talking. So that's what we're going to be finishing up today. This is kind of the ring that we're basing it off of. So it is, see micro prong. If you're not familiar with that, that's what this kind of a setting is called. So let me go ahead and review over here. Okay. All right. So, just kind of get everybody caught up on what we've already done so far is we have laid out our bezel. I was thinking about my bezel last night and I realized I have not cut the seat, which is the area that the stone kind of goes into on this bezel. So I think I will, because generally speaking, unless it's like a really, really crazy banana stone, the jewelers prefer it if you cut the bezel kind of pre-cut for that, just ever so slightly smaller than the gemstone is. That way they just have to pretty much do a quick polish on the inside and that stone will pop right in there. So we're going to do that today. Yesterday we finished up the halo part of the ring, which is the part of the stone. Let me go ahead and shade this. Which is the part of the stone where the gemstones go all the way around the middle one. And so we'll just kind of keep plugging away on here. Again, feel free to, talk in the chat. Feel free to ask me any questions. I have a lot of random stories about all sorts of things. So, yeah, here we go. So I think the first thing I'm going to do today is finish up how this is going to kind of transition into the finger. Obviously, it can't just float here. That would be nice. If I could invent floating jewelry, then I would be the richest person in the world, right? Because everybody wants, just that stone floating above your finger. But we'll have to have a little bit of something underneath here just to make that possible. And so actually, this isn't going to be that hard. What I'm going to do is the customer has requested that this ring be low profile or close to the finger as possible. I can't bring it any lower than it already is because of how big the center stone is. And so I don't want to have, this going all the way to the finger. That's going to make this really, really heavy, really, really bulky, and it's going to make it more expensive as well. And, everybody's always trying to save money when they're, making jewelry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another rail that's a pear shape under here, and then add kind of wires coming down from this top part into the bottom part, giving it a little bit of space here and saving a little bit of that weight, but also keeping it low to the finger. Because if I could just leave it the way it is, cut the bottom part of this bezel and, just bring the ring up and have it come underneath. But what that will do is make the point of this easy to catch on clothing. Or trying to avoid anything like that. Hi, Rosie. Hi, Rosie. All right. So hopefully we'll get a few more people joining the stream at some point. I know a lot of people work during the day, so I might end up moving my times that I stream to a little bit later in the day, just kind of seeing what works with everybody's schedule. So, yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. I already have basically the shape that I want for that lower rail. It's going to be a little bit smaller than my actual halo, so that way it'll have a little bit of a taper to it. All right, let's see. And I did not extend this all the way because I did do that blend surface on there. So I think I'll stick with that, only I might do a blend curve. I'll use a few other different tools when I'm going to work this under rail. Okay, so I'm going to take, what do I want to do? I'm going to take this and I'm going to copy it because I don't like to get rid of anything on here. And I'm going to bring it down. And then I'm going to hide kind of what's going on up here because I don't need to see it at the moment. It's just in the way. Okay. So let me go ahead and hide my gemstones. I'll hide all of them. I will hide my bezel. Oh, something else I also did off camera is for some reason, and I'm not sure why I did this. Sometimes I just draw profiles in random places. I had put my curve that created this bezel on the side, which actually made it really hard to tell if I had the correct amount of bezel overlap, and also hard to kind of adjust. So I moved it to the end, so I actually have it here in this view. So when I look at my gemstone, I can see, okay, yeah, I've got the appropriate amount of bezel overlap on here. And so now when I go to cut this, it's gonna make it a lot easier. Not sure why I didn't do that from the beginning, but I didn't, so here we are. Right. So I will go ahead and continue hiding all my stuff. So let me hide you. Let me hide you. And let me hide you. Great. Okay, so now I've got my curve, which is going to be the lower part of my rail. And I'm going to go to my curve tools, offset this. I don't need this to be very thick, but I do want it to have some kind of thickness to it because I do want to make sure that it is going to hold the, kind of the weight of the ring. So this is going to be what's up against the finger. If you make these too thin, what ends up happening is it'll get polished down and eventually come to like a sharp point on the bottom, which isn't comfortable for people to wear. And since this is an engagement ring, it's most likely going to be worn every day. So you want to think about these things while you're modeling. I once had a ring that was so thin at the bottom because it was an estate piece and it wasn't well made anyway. And so when I would wear it, it actually would cut my finger. And I really, truly did love this ring. And I would wear it all the time. But, it eventually just cut me so much. I got over it and I sold it because I was like, I can't really wear this anymore. It hurts too much. So I'm going to avoid that. I'm going to make this 1.2 millimeters thick. It gives it a little bit of room for polishing and wear over time. So let me go ahead and take these. I don't need these up here, so I'm just going to hide them and get them out of the way. I like to work with as clean of a screen as I can, because that way it just makes it easier to find stuff. Because if I left everything on, it's harder to see what I'm doing for me, and I'm sure it's harder to see what I'm doing for anybody watching me, not understanding maybe what's going on in my brain. All right, so now I've got kind of the basic shape for my rail. So I'm going to go ahead and take these and mirror them over. Now I still have history enabled on here, and I do want this to be a little bit smaller than my halo because right now it's the exact same size. What exact size? I'm not sure. Let me see. Let me draw some reference lines and see if I can figure out exactly how big I want this to be. Let's see. I will go from here. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make a curve or a line that is the same angle as kind of my halo head here. So that'll give me a good idea about how big I want my my lower rail to be. Now a trick that you can do with CAD. Right now I got a near snap. Oh, and I do have my project on, good, which is what I want. Now, as you can see, I'm getting another near snap here. If I were to take this down, it's going to keep moving it at an angle, and I'm going to have to kind of guess. So a little trick you can do is kind of get a line that's about the angle that you think you want it to be. And if you tap the... Oops. If you tap the tab button, make sure I tell you the right button to tap, it'll actually pull it in at an angle and lock it into that, so I can make that as long as I want. So now I can see exactly where I want my curve to be. Got a nice angle on there. So I'm actually I want to scale this in, but I don't want to scale it from where my gumball is. I want to scale it from the center. So I'm going to come over to my transform tools and grab my scale 2D. I'm going to go from the origin point here. I am going to do this by eye. So what I'm looking at right now is actually, you know what? I don't need to do this by eye. I don't know why sometimes I make things more difficult for myself because I have project on, so I don't need to do anything by eye. So I'll go ahead and get an end snap here, and then should be able to get an intersect snap. Doesn't even work on there. I can still kind of get it by eye. There we go. And because I had my history turned on, everything updated. So this is going to be, give or take, about the angle I want it to be. I might bring it in a little bit more on the sides here. So you see that I can just tell by eye that isn't going to line up. Let's go ahead and make another line over here. So it's on a sync line. Okay. Again, this is just kind of estimating what we're working with here. Let's put it in there. Oh, I used my gumball. So the reason I didn't want to do that is because it changed where this point was, and I want to make sure this is going to snap together, so. Hopefully a few more people will join our stream. I texted a couple people, told them we'd be on. That's all right. I assumed I wasn't going to get a lot of people watching these first few, but we'll be posting a lot of these onto YouTube eventually, so that way I've got kind of these modeling tutorials all over the place. Figure I'm going to be making these anyway, so might as well do them live, and then I can cut out any of the boring bits. All right, so we'll go in and I'm going to check these out. Okay. Looking pretty good. There's a few ways I could do this. I'm going to do it the quickest way because I just want to see kind of where I'm at. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to trim off my excess here. And I will come into my curve tools. And where's my blend curve? The corner, adjustable blend. There we go. Let's move. No, I want to go with them. Okay. I'm just going to give myself a quick blend there. And then also a quick fillet. Because there's no reason to have a sharp corner on anything. Let's see how pointy it looks. Oh, that looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. I think I like that. Right. Oh, and it automatically joined everything together for me, so that's good. Okay. So I'm going to come in to my extrude tool here. I'm going to extrude this. My sub-intersecting. Aha. I think I know where the problem is. I think the problem is here. Yup. Okay. So those curves weren't lined up perfectly, so I got that little alert that popped up. But for now, I'm just going to do a blend curve. Perfect. And now we'll try that extrude again, see if that works. Oh. All right, now I'm sure it's you. Oops. Delete. I wanted to turn your control points on. Yep, those are overlapping a little bit too. So, does that change my shape? It does. Okay. There we go. There we go. All right. I didn't want to change the shape too much, so I just went ahead with those. That should. There we go. Oh, whoops. So I didn't notice this, but you might have since you had it up on my screen. When I did that, it actually projected both of those control points down to the bottom here, and so it looks really, really silly. So we're gonna undo both of those and turn off my project, and then I'm actually just gonna move you over here and you over here, and then just do a quick little blend. And that's perfect. Okay, there we go. Fix all our little problems. All right. So now when I go to do my extrude, everything looks perfect. I want this to be solid because I'm actually going to do some Boolean intersections to make this. What about you? And then I think if I do, yeah, this should work. I want to do a little bit of adjusting. Cares on the. Oh, because okay, I know what I did. So these angles are going to be just a little bit different. Open this up just a little bit. Make sure everything's still pretty consistent. Yep, everything's looking good. All right. So I usually just adjust everything using my gumball. It makes everything so quick, so clean. And then you don't have to really worry about, going in, modeling, doing sweeps. You can just do an extrude and then adjust it. And it tends to be a little bit quicker. Now, this reference grip is just 1 millimeter. I'm going to make this 1.1 because I like to make sure that I have a little bit of extra material, again, for that polishing. So let me go ahead and hide this guy. We'll make a new curve. This one, we'll make it 1.1. Is that still big enough? Yeah, perfect. Yay! I was worried I was going to have to go in and adjust that, which is not a big deal, but, extra steps. Solid, yes. Both sides, yes. Cool. So this is what I like to do for my lower gallery wires. Since I don't have, there used to be a tool in the software that was called Pull to Rail when I was using the software called Matrix, but I've switched to Rhino exclusively now. And so I don't have that pull to rail option anymore. I have the pull, but you have to do a lot more things. Plus, that tool tend to break everything. I really didn't like it. I prefer to cut things. Booleans are some of my favorite tools to use. So I'm going to do a Boolean intersection, which to me is the least used Boolean in jewelry. But you can make some really cool, detailed pieces like that just using that Boolean intersection. And so that's what I'm going to use today. Use this as my first object, and then this as my second object. So what that's done is it's made me a beautiful little rail for underneath my halo. Oops, there you are. So now all I need to do is go in, round it out, because it's, again, too sharp. I hate sharp things. And then add some wires in here, and then I should have a beautiful, perfect little ring. I'm just going to take a second, text some people, see if they can't come in to watch me. I can keep talking to myself, but it's much more fun to talk to people in the chat. So let's see if we can get a few more people to join our stream. And then I'm going to do the thing you're not supposed to do. I'm going to text my mother and tell her to get on. Actually, I'll call her. I'm going to have to set that for her. She's not going to be able to just figure this out on her own. So that's good because I can take this. I'm still going to take all these videos and turn them into YouTubes. So that will work. All right. So it looks like this. I didn't bring this in as much as I wanted to. I'm going to adjust this just a little bit. It won't take me very long to just kind of bring that in. Okay. And then I'll redo my extrude. Both sides is... No, I don't want both sides. The reason I don't want both sides is because the top of this is the angle that I want it to be, and I'll need to make the bottom the angle I want it to be. So if I did both sides, I can still do it, but it's just going to take a little extra time. So let me go ahead and this I do love my BTS. Since I'm just in here, with my one viewer. Hello. I'm gonna talk about my love of K-pop and boy bands some more. Yeah, I actually discovered K-pop when I was working in an office with another CAD modeler. So I tend to, if I hear songs I like come on while I'm modeling, I'll sing and dance along to them. So I started listening to K-pop because I was like, well, I don't know any of the words to these songs, so I won't accidentally start singing. But a side effect of that was I learned all of the words to the K-pop songs. So now I can sing along to a lot of them. And so that kind of backfired, and I just ended up singing in Korean to the poor girl. So, I'm sure really was really fun for her. Let's see. I'm just kind of going back through my steps again to get my Boolean intersection. Oops. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah, now that matches the angle. Oh. A bit of inlaying in there. I think I gotta come up with some better tags so people find me when they're searching on Twitch. This also might be just a bad time to do streaming. It works for me because I work from home, so I have the time to kind of do this whenever. Also thinking I'll do a Saturday stream. That might work a lot better for some of my friends because they work retail, so they're probably still working on Saturdays. So, but that's all right. At least I have one viewer. Hello. Oh. Oh, I see what's happened. Reference line was a little bit off. Oh, but it seems to still worked. Cool. I love it when a plan comes together. All right, so let me go ahead and soften this up a bit. We'll do my solid tools. We'll grab a fillet. I made this one piece 2, so I'll make my fillet 5, and let's see what that looks like. I also liked around the inside too. Just looks a little nicer. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Interesting that I did that. Oh, I know why. Okay. All right. I had an extra surface over here because of when I blended. And so I have a little extra control buttons in here. Right. Okay. I'm just going to get rid of, let's get rid of for these 2. There we go. And maybe, yeah. Okay, that changed the shape, but it changed it so faintly that won't make a difference. So we'll do that one more time. Something that I did always tell my students is, don't be afraid to delete things. It didn't take you that long to create that thing. So if you gotta go in and delete something, don't be afraid. I can tell you how many times I get this exasperated look on their face. Like, oh my gosh, please don't make me delete things. Ugh. Especially when you would ask them to re-sweep something. Oh my gosh, talk about dramatic. It's like deleting things, that's the whole point of this, right? It's not clay. It's not, let's see, I want to be able to do smooth zoom. Oops. No, you're being a pain. There we go. Nice one. Smooth zoom. So now that I've lined it all up, I lost it. There we go. There we go. Just back to my right view here. Bring this in. I bet that's fun to watch. Okay, now I'll come in and grab this here. Do the same thing over here. Grab that. Bring it out a little bit. Yeah, I think I'll start doing my streams a little later because I think that my friends' students might like to watch this. So my one viewer, you just get to listen to me kind of think about how to make, pick a better time or, do things a little bit more interesting. I mean, I've already got a lot of colors, although my colors are a little muted. Not sure how to make this more exciting. Any thoughts from my one viewer would be, greatly appreciated. Oops, I forgot to make that solid. That's okay. Oh, that's all right. Solid, yes. No, I was solid. Okay, now it's working. That's like an intersection. See how that looks. Do I like that a lot better? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. So now that I have this, I'm going to round it again. I might actually leave it flat on the inside. Maybe I'll give it a slightly tinier fillet on there because that'll give me a little bit more stability. And I don't need it to be that rounded. So let me go back into my solid tools, grab my fillet. Let's do it at 0.3. It's like on all this. Oops. I know what it was that I did. Interesting that tiny little change I made to the curves, it now doesn't want to fill it for me. Guess I should have left it well enough alone, huh? Oh. So a bigger fillet will work, but a smaller fillet won't work. Interesting. Usually it's the other way around. All right, we've got a couple other options we can do up here. Go ahead and grab you. We can do, I'll have preview yes, so that'll tell me that this is a broken one. I can do distance between rails. Okay, distance between rails works just fine. Let me see. Distance from edge? Distance from edge works just fine. Oh, nope, distance from edge doesn't work at all. So let me go back in. Distance between rails will work. Now what if I make you back to 0.5? All right, see, now that's working. So that's interesting. So fillets, we had a saying when I was teaching, it's fillets frequently fail. There was nothing really wrong with this surface. I did a fine job making it. It was just, a Boolean intersection sometimes makes some curves the computer doesn't like, but there are options up in this fillet command tool that a lot of people don't take a look at, and it's an easy way to fix your problem with your fillets is to just pick a different rail type. And once you do that, you can really go in and start adjusting and playing with everything. So that worked out well. All right, that's looking fine. See, so this one is broken. So that's not working. So let me go ahead and see if I can do bowling ball. Bowling ball still broken. And distance from edge still broken. Interesting. This top one really doesn't want to seem to work. And it is having the problem up here. Interesting that 0.5 worked. See, now it's not working at all. Yeah, this happens. Sometimes the software just doesn't like what you're doing. So we're going to have to kind of manually do this, which is fine with me. It's really no skin off my back if I have to go in and kind of do a manual fillet. Oh, did not want to do it though. I like the rest of the way this is looking, so I think I will just check on my... Yeah, I do want that to be a little bit softer. Sometimes I have to decide if it's worth the extra step, but I think I do want this to be a little softer. So I'll go ahead in my 0.5 fillet. I'm just using that as a reference because I'm going to come in and I'm going to extract my surfaces and I'm going to use blend surfaces instead of fillets. Oh, hi, Darkin. Hi. Welcome. You missed a little bit. I'm making a the lower part of the halo now. So this customer has asked for this ring to be as a low profile, so as close to the finger as possible. But because of the size of the gemstone, I can't get any closer to the finger, so I am just making kind of some bars to kind of hold this up, but still keeping it, you know, having the full pear-shaped touch the finger because it'll make it a little less likely to catch on things, keeping it that low profile look that the customer wanted. So I've been kind of talking through everything. It's just you and then my one other viewer, who you know, I don't have hasn't said hi to me yet, so that's fine. Um, yeah, it's not that tricky. I have some tricks that I've been showing everybody on how to do that. So great. Okay. So I was having trouble with my fillet failing, which is pretty common. And so I was just going in and because you can see this is supposed to be rounded, but it didn't actually do it. It made a surface, but that surface is broken. There's a couple things I could do to fix that. This one looks pretty simple, so I'm going to I'm either going to use a blend surface to fix that, or I can just yeah, you know, blend surface is going to, I think, be the easiest. But I left the broken fillet there to kind of show me where I want to cut these other surfaces. So I'm going to split them with a curve. So come to my curve tools. No, not come to my curve tools. I want to go to my regular tools to grab my split with an iso curve. This is going the wrong direction. So I'm going to go ahead and toggle that. Oh, fascinating. So because I made this with an extrude, it's actually not going to give me the curve that I want. That's fine. It happens. There are two ways I could go about fixing this. I could delete this, resweep it, and then I'd get the curve that I want, or I can duplicate the edge of my broken fillet. And I think I'm actually... Oh, a loft would do it too. I think I'm going to loft it because there's a reason my fillet's broken, so I don't want to rely on that for making any of my curves since I already know that it is a broken object. So, let me go in and grab my lofty friend. I'm going to switch colors because I love to switch colors. Oh, loft. Okay, well, let me do this. Duplicate the border. So the edge was made up of multiple surfaces, and so because of that, I couldn't get one single curve to loft, and so I just created a new curve off of a non-broken surface to get my loft from. So now I'll go from that curve. Make sure I grab the right edge here. You can call me monsters who live in your heart fail. I wonder if this would fix the fillet problem by itself. Let's try it. That alone might be enough to fix my fillet problems. It's so funny why these fillets fail, because sometimes you're like, I don't know why you did that. Everything is perfectly fine with you. I'm gonna laugh. Oh yeah, that's gonna work. So actually, that outer surface was the main problem we were having. Beautiful. I don't think I want you to be 0.5. I want you to be 0.4. So I'll put 4. Nice. I think I'll leave that inner edge sharp because it's not going to be up against any fingers. Nothing going to be doing that. The dog has not made an appearance. She was here, but she left at the beginning of the stream because I don't think she likes little sentimental. I'll get her for you. Hang on. Rosie! Doggy no. Let's see if she's inside the house. Rose? Doggy no. Oh, there she is. There she is. Okay, we'll give her one, and then it's dog time. There's a little treat for you. She's like, oh, I think these mean scoopage. Yeah, getting scoop. Come here, baby. And it's doggy time. I am. Ready, ready, ready? It's doggy time. She loves the song, don't you, baby? Look at the camera. Look at your daddy. He's sweet. Oh, you being a dope. Oh, you being a dope. She loves it when I do this. It's my favorite. You want to escape? You want to escape? Are you just going to sit on my lap? No. I think this is this. Oh. Because I left her treat on the desk, so she. Yup. Don't fall. You're being a goof. Are you being a goof? She got her extra second treat. She stole it. But now you have to sit on my lap while I do CAD modeling, doggo. Boop. That's right. Okay. So now I need to make my posts or my bars that are going to hold these together. I think I'll do one here, one here, one here, and one here. We'll see if that's too many because this is a kind of a big stone. So I don't want to do too few because it's going to make it difficult. She stayed on my lap. Oh, you been licking? Oh, thank you for the kisses. Those are my favorite. Okay. I might bring this in a little bit more now that I look at this. Now that I've spent all this time making this and fixing it, I actually don't like it. Girl, all right. I'll give you one more treat being tortured. There you go. Yes, tormented soul. I don't like the way the inside of this looks. I think it's too thin. I'm going to save in case I change my mind again. I just think I could go a little bit thicker on this. See if I can go back. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Shouldn't be too hard. I just need to pull these in a little bit. These ways. Right there. That's too much. That was too much. Overcompensation. Oops. I want to make it similar to this. Let me hide you. I want it to feel kind of similar to that, so. How does it tonight? I got my two loyal viewers watching along with me as I change my mind on everything that I'm doing. Top looks thicker than the bottom. All right, let me see what those ended up coming in. Because again, I'm just doing this by eye, which is fine. I've been doing this a long time. I don't need to measure everything, but looking for about. I think I like that better. Okay. I'll divide delete that as if I hide it. I hit it. Let's see how that looks. Go up to my solid tools, use my favorite tool, Boolean intersection. See, I think that looks a lot nicer. It's a little bit thicker, and since I already know I'm going to have a problem, I'm going to expose this. And I'm going to fix that problem now since I've already know that it's going to give me issue. Call it an inside surface too. Because of the way I did this, the ISO curves, which are the curves that kind of decide the shape of everything, are not going the same direction as my surface. And so that's why I had those problems before. But now they are. And so now everything should be beautiful. Okay. Good. Okay. So now I'll go back in and do my fillet one more time. No, fillet. There we go.
New life, new world. Come on. 오늘은 왠지 설레요.
No, you're breaking? You weren't breaking before. I love computers. Now why are you being mad at me?
주발에 노래 신나게 들떠 있어 오늘 밤에 칙칙하게 보내기 싫지 그래서 소원을 들지 빌면 빌어 나 이제는 소원을 말해봐.
I'm gonna laugh. It'll work. It'll work on the outer one. Of course. Okay. So it likes that surface for that one. And it doesn't like it for that one. Just a little one on the other side. That's... Oh, I like the way that looks a lot better on the inside there. Okay. So now we'll do what I did before. We duplicate the border. Oh, I left everything the same color. This is fine for now. Perfect. Okay. Join this and this. And now my fillet should work. Because it likes the bottom surface, but not the top. See, this is just like the perfect example of why fillets are a terrible tool. I said I want to point it. That's fine. Shy. What terrible. No, I'm going to bring that down a little bit. So all before. Yeah, I like the way that looks. Sometimes I just need to look at it without all these ISO curves on it, which is why I go to one of those other view options. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and make the posts that I need to hold these together. Should have projected. It did. Great. So let me go ahead and change you. Okay. I might end up shaving it off on the inside a little bit more, but that's pretty easy to do. So let me go ahead and do my offset. What are you offsetting to? 1.1. See 1.2. Yeah, I might end up going in and shaving down that inner one, but we'll see. We'll see how I feel. Oh, now what do I want to do? I want... Ooh, okay. I think I know how to do this. we are going to try. I haven't done this in a while, so let's see how I like it. We'll do real sweep. You and selected. There we go. Show selected is my favorite tool because then I can go in and find the actual thing I want to show, which is this fella. And I'm going to do a see. Now you are just one curve right now. So let me hide you. I'm going to save because I should save more. Join these two together. Okay, and then we're going to do a blend curve here. But now I have this rail, and we'll change this color so I can find it. This is definitely much easier when I have viewers chatting with me in the chat box. I can see oh, I have a third viewer. Hello, third viewer. Welcome. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box. I'm just kind of walking through finishing up a halo ring that I started yesterday. Oh, hi, Spirosaurus. Oh, Darkin, Spirosaurus is coming over later. I forgot to tell you. Now I've told you. Cool. So, I don't need to explain to you too much what I'm doing because you already know. I'm just going through and finishing up the bottom part of this rail. I decided to leave it kind of a little bit more open, but since the client wanted it low profile, I'm making sure to pull that entire pear shape down to the finger hole. So that way it's not going to catch on anything. Ooh, I just got really mad. Had the AC on. All right. So, okay, so that's what I'm working on now. So I've got this, and right now I'm just going in to make the connectors to hold these two together. So what color am I on? Green's fine. I'm going to come in into a 2-rail sweep. Got this upper one and this lower one, and grab my profile. Kind of there. Yes. That is actually pretty much exactly what I wanted it to do. It went a little wider on the sides. I need it to come in just a little bit at the top here. I can adjust that pretty easy. And maybe a little bit jump higher. Oh, yeah. Gorgeous. That actually worked out a lot better than I thought it was going to, which is always really exciting. So then I can do the same thing with the inside one. So let me grab a 2-rail sweep, grab the same ones, you, and oh, that'll work too. And then grab you. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, that's fine. Let me hide you, because this is just for the inside ones, so I might not even do it this way. Can I use you? Oh, yeah. And you. And you. Oh, you really don't like me today. That's funny. You know, sometimes these tools just do not like me. And they just don't like anybody. Okay, we're not going to do it that way. We'll leave that one be. We'll do offset surface instead. So, yes. Let me get a J. So I know a few of my viewers are working right now. So thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate everybody who's coming out to take the time to watch this. I try to be entertaining. Since Spirisaurus is back, I will get the dog to come back out here in a few minutes so that she can say hi to you. She will Well, she doesn't like it when I do that, but I don't care. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this to actually make my poles. And I think maybe I'll make my shank first because that will kind of decide how the side of this is going to go. But this is really helpful. So since I do have to make this a little bit higher than I would prefer, I'm going to do this a little bit of a cathedral style because that's going to help, again, keep this, making it feel like it's that low profile, even though it's got a high stone in it. Because again, we're trying to get that feel like, okay, this is almost on the finger. This is really, really close. So I'm going to go in and grab my offset curve, and I want you... Oh, why are you not the same? Whatever. I'm gonna make this. I think I'll make this one 1.8. Oh, I did 18. Haha. Forgot that point. Points are important. Supports can be the right word. That's actually a really funny question. There are actually countless ways of making the supports under here. You can make like an individual bar and just place it in there. What I'm trying to do with the supports I'm making is I am trying to make them kind of feel like they flow from one piece. I want this to feel like there was one piece of metal and you cut out the kind of the gaps on the outside, making it feel a little bit more lightweight. Because if I were to leave it this thick, it's going to be a really, really heavy ring, and that's not at all what the customer wants to have. So that's a really good question, but but it's funny because there's not an exact number, because you could use extrude to do it. You could use, I'm going to probably use the offset surface to do it. You could sweep them individually. I could have extracted an iso curve from up here and duplicated the edge here and lofted the two together. That actually probably would have gotten me the exact same surface that I have here. So yeah, it's kind of like whatever tool you feel like using at the time. But it's interesting because a lot of jewelers will fall into an issue where they will pick like 3 tools that they really, really like to use, and they'll only use those 3 tools for everything. And that's fine. You know, it works. But there are other tools that are designed to do, you know, things that you're forcing tools that maybe that's not what they are meant to do. So yeah, so it's personal preference. My personal preference kind of changes by the minute. I might actually, now that I've said these different ways, I might actually go back and change what I did, and do extract, iso curve, and loft, because that might actually get me a little slightly better here. But we'll see. We'll see what I feel like doing later. So excuse me. Woo, talking a lot. Okay, so right now what I'm doing is I'm creating the shape that I want the outer part of my shank to be. Again, trying to leave it feel as close to the finger as possible, but it is a big stone, so you kind of have to have it floating just a little bit. So, I like that. Okay, so I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna split it. Split it here and here. If I do anymore. Okay, so this is gonna be join. Yeah, I like that, but I want you to be this color. Because I like to make sure, you know, some of my habits that I have for color choices come from the first software I used, Matrix, where they actually kind of had specific colors that they used for different things. And so I actually kind of set mine up very similar to what they had, but a little bit more customized to me. Like they used browns on theirs, and then these are all just like extra layers that came in from stuff that I imported that I, you know, will have to go in and get rid of later. But the reason I use this kind of brown color here for my finger rail and the outside ring rail is because that's kind of what they used in my other software. Same with this kind of orange color for like the profile curves. Again, comes from my habits that I formed from other softwares. But that's the nice thing about this software is that you really can go in and make things as customized as you want them to be, which is really, really nice. So I think because this is a little bit of a bigger ring at the bottom, I am going to make a bigger. I think I want this a little bit bigger, actually. I think I did 1 point. Did I do 1.8 or 1.7? What did I do? I did 1.8. 1.8 is fine. I don't need to go any thicker than that. Oh, okay. Let me go in. Okay. How is that? Is that a little bit louder? Having some mic issues. Okay, perfect. Okay, let me go back here. Okay. My mother's calling me. Gasp. That's all right. I will call her back. Although you shouldn't hang up on your mother. Ooh. Cool. All right, so now we've got all that figured out. I'm gonna keep going here with my profile. All right, so I'm gonna do a half round shank on this because those are, you know, kind of a nice simple way of still getting some kind of beauty, keeping it soft and rounded, but also give it a little bit of stability too. So that's typically the way I do these, and eventually maybe I will go in and save one of these somewhere so I don't have to keep remaking it every time I want to do a half round band. But I tended to redraw them every time because they don't take that long to do. I'm just going to give it a few more control points. Actually, I'll leave the ones that are on here now because I go in and kind of pull these out. Maybe fold them down a little bit. And this back up so it's the same. Boop. There we go. Looks pretty good. And then I will join these together. And then I will give it... I'm going to fillet it afterwards because I'm going to take this and copy it up to the top. And the reason I'm going to do the fillet is because I'm going to stretch it. I'm going to stretch that half round band out, or that profile out, and it will also stretch my fillet. So I want my fillet to be the same on the inside. So I will go ahead and wait to do that. Okay, good question. What's the difference between a half round and other types? So half round is going to be like this, where it's essentially, the reason it's called half round is because traditionally when these were made by hand, you'd take a round wire and kind of wrap it around a... Actually, no, I think you'd start with a half round. Now see, I'm making things up. So traditionally, you'd have a wire that was rounded on one side and use that. Leaving it flat on the inside makes it a little easier for the jeweler to go in and size it and polish it, because then they don't have to worry about the rounded corners when they're carving things. It just makes things a little easier. Same with wax carving. If you're going to carve out the center of a ring, it's going to be flat starting out, and if you want it to be rounded on the inside at all, then you can get as crazy as you want with these shapes. You could get points, you can get dots. It's just really preference what you want it to look like. So let me go in, and I am going to rotate with copy. Rotate, copy, yes. Oops. Rotate. Copy from the origin. Oh, I don't have my project on. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to bring this up here. So it's kind of hard to see because right now I have everything in shaded mode. But if I go to ghosted mode, you'll see I've actually taken that profile and brought it up into the upper part of my ring. And now I'm going to scale this with 1D. But I'm going to actually use the scale tool because I need this to stay perfectly flat where it is. And I can get a lovely little snap there. Did I do 2D? Oh, I did 3D. Okay. 1D, which is One Direction, which is also boy band. All right. So now I've got that profile up here. And I'm just going to make it a little bit skinnier because I went with a little bit wider at the bottom there. And before I do any filleting, because this is a pear shape, so I actually need this to come in. Let me just see how this looks and then I'll adjust that. I'll probably have to go in and fix that. What color do I want to make this? Thank you, blue. Let's have a blue shank. And just line those up in the middle. Ugh. I really don't like the way that looks, but that's okay. Because I'll actually come in here and it's because I made the bottom too big. That's the beauty of, the software is you really can go in. Oh, yeah, because you're bigger than 2 millimeters, so that's why. You really can go in and adjust things and make them, look a little nicer. That looks a lot cuter. Yeah. Okay, I'm happy with that. So, that's why you set things up with having that history on, because then you can go in and really quickly update stuff. All right. Good questions. All right, now I'm just thinking. Okay, so I need this to come in just a little bit more because I needed to touch this and kind of even act as one of the side supports on here. So let me hide this. I don't want that. Because right now it's not touching, it's actually not touching this upper green part at all, which is not good. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn on my control points. There's going to be 2 things I'm going to have to do, and it might totally mess up my surface as I'm going, which is totally fine. Bring that in just a little bit. And then come in and grab my profile and go back into my rotate with copy off. Rotate that from there to there. And then go back in and do a scale One Direction. I need to learn some One Direction songs so I can make jokes about that. And there we go. All right. Now we've got that touching. And this will look a lot nicer when it's not the only thing supporting this in here. I also usually go in and add extra material to the inside too. Because, any extra material holding this together is just going to make things a lot better. No, you don't. No, I don't what? Oh, no. I don't know what I said. Sometimes I just talk and I don't know what I said. I don't know what I didn't do. Oh, yeah. I think it's going to happen anyway, honey. I think, sorry, Darkin. I'm going to learn some One Direction songs so I can make jokes about it every time I use my scale. I have a very specific audience for people who want to watch me CAD model. All right. So, I wish I could see. I'm going to mess with this a little bit more, see if I can make it nicer. Oh, I like that a little better. Yeah. One of the things that people don't really pay attention to too much is, how the shank goes into the Okay. What was I doing? Oh yeah. So something that people tend to not pay attention to is how the shank goes into the setting. Now this one I don't have a lot of wiggle room with what I can do, but sometimes people will just slap a shank on it, call it a day. But you really want to think about it. Make sure it looks nice. So I like the way this looks like here, and then I'll add a little bit more of my meat onto the inside so that it just is barely, it looks like it's barely hovering, barely touching here, but it's actually really supporting it in here. And I'm not going to cut this out because, again, that'll help keep that look like it's a little bit closer to the finger. The more, if they wanted a higher piece, I'd actually cut a little piece of metal out of here because that's going to, again, give it that appearance that it's higher. But I'm trying to make it feel really, really, really low on here. So that's why I'm kind of trying to make the decisions that I'm making on here. So let me bring back my surface here. And I'm going to start cutting him up. And I'm only going to work on this side. Zoom in here. So I think this is already actually several surfaces. Let me hit explode. No, sorry, it's just one surface, which is totally fine. Whoops. And then I will come in. Yeah, you know, now that I said a better way of making this, I can split. That's a great question, Dragon. I can split. I can split that, but the reason I'm not doing that is because I want this to feel closer to the finger, and when you cut that gap open, it makes it feel like it's higher because now you've got that space in there. But if it's filled in, it feels like it's a little bit closer to the finger. It's kind of one of those things where even though they're exactly the same, it makes it feel different. Yeah. Good question. Oh god, that's this line up there. Okay. Just checking a couple of places, make sure everything looks good. So after I said that there's a better way of doing this surface, I'm actually going to do it that way because I think it will look, I don't know. Now that I've said it, I really want to do it that way. So I'm going to go in and go to my curve tools. I don't want offset curve. Interesting. Okay. It's funny because sometimes they pick buttons up here that are like, they seem like they'd be really helpful. I had gone through and made a bunch of custom buttons, and then for some reason when I saved, they all deleted. So I need to go back and make my custom buttons with my favorite tools again. But I need extract iso curve, which there isn't actually a button for currently. So let me go ahead and grab my extract iso curve. I'm going to bring you up maybe about, actually, let me do this in the side view so I can see. Let's bring you, let's try there. Okay. I need to do one more here. Oh, toggle that around. Beautiful. And then I'm going to come in and join those. And then I will come and duplicate the edge. Yeah, I'd gone in and like drawn a bunch of custom buttons and spent a really long time doing it. But then however I saved them, just they didn't save. And so when I updated my software, it just deleted all of my buttons. I was very, very sad. Let me go ahead and split. It's more time. There. Get rid of you. Switch my layer color. And this time we will do, I want to make sure these have the same number of curves or with control points. So I'm going to fit you and fit you. Let's see how that works. I might have to rebuild them, but I will We'll see how that turns out. False you to you. Yeah, I actually like that surface a lot better than my first one. Which is funny because, you know, to an untrained eye, they might look exactly the same, but they actually are just a little bit different. Oh, we've had a couple of people pop in and out to watch kind of what I'm doing, so that's exciting. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and take this surface that I've created. Is it multiple surfaces? It is. For the sake of what I'm doing, I actually want this to be one single surface. And the reason it's multiple is this control point right here. And now it's one single surface. So the reason I could tell that is if I zoom in here on these two lines, it's very, very, very subtle. This is ever so slightly darker than this one, which means that this is a little bit thicker. It's an edge. So that if I hit explode, this would turn into two separate surfaces. And it's this little guy's fault because he is a corner. But if I get rid of him, now you can see they're exactly the same thickness. Again, very, very subtle. Something that, you know, if you haven't been staring at CAD as long as I have, you might not have even noticed. Okay, so now what I want to do is I don't want these to be too thick, but I also don't want them to be too thin because I don't want them to not do anything. So I'm going to come in and grab a curve. I'm actually going to save. Here. Actually, I need to use the restroom and refill my water. So I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break. I'll be back in 5 minutes. And then we'll finish this guy up. So I will be right back. We're back and we have a dog. We're back and we have a dog. Say hi to everybody, Rose. Say hi, my name's Rose. I'm being tortured. Torture. I like it when you make annoyed faces at me, doggo. Oh, you're like, give me all the treats. Give me all the treats. All right. There you go. Yay. Full pretzel for the dog. All right. We were making supports. I think that's all I really have to do left is supports and just kind of finish off how that shank is transitioning. And I think we're definitely going to be able to finish this stream. Yay! And then I can send it to my client and she'll be happy. Of course, you know, she can make changes if she wants to and things. And, oh, you know what else I haven't done? I haven't cut the bezel. That's easy. That's easy. So let me go ahead and shrink you down. Okay. So let me turn off my control points. All right. So I need to make sure that I have these thick enough to actually support the height or the weight of the piece on top because they're really the main structure here. Because I'm assuming that this girl is going to wear her ring, you know, every day. She's going to wear it probably to the gym, even though she shouldn't. But I just like to assume that people are not going to be nice to their jewelry. So I got to make sure it's going to be nice and sturdy. So I'm going to make some reference lines here just to make sure everything ends up being thick enough. I don't want my project snap on right now. So I tend to model always with my project snap on. That way if I don't need it, then I know, oh, I should probably turn it off. So let me go in and I'm going to make this reference line by 5. I just want to see about where that comes. Okay. I think I do want it to be a little bit thicker than that. So I'm going to do this by eye, but this is like my minimum. I don't want it to be any smaller because it's going to be 0.5 on the other side because I'm going to make it and then mirror it over. And so 1 millimeter is really the minimum. If I was going to do like a whole bunch of them, 1 millimeter would be fine. But since I'm going to try and leave this to minimum, I'm going to do I might do one here, but I think what I'm going to do is one here, one here, one here, and one here. So I'm going to try to do just a few on here, keep it lightweight, and we'll see how that goes. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I save this. Okay. So I'm going to split this with isocurve. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to do split here, grab isocurve for my command line, and I'm just going to do this by eye. I think I want it to come to here. See how that looks. Oh, I think that looks lovely. Oh, yeah. That should be just fine. Yep. Yeah, let's make this all the same color. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that looks good. I like that. Okay. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Let me do this and bring this back out. So what did you end up being? Let me do analyze distance from here to here. 1.2. Okay, that's good because it makes the whole thing about 2.4. Yeah. Easy math, right? You know, we're going to mess with this because we're going to see. Right now, I'm just going to split this again with an ISO curves. About where do I want this? I don't want my snaps on right now. So another little trick, if you're modeling and your snaps are getting in the way, but you don't want to turn them off because you want to keep them, in general, if you hold the Alt button, it actually will temporarily disable your snaps and allow you to really just do things by eye and not have to worry about your snaps getting in the way without having to go down and turn them off and then go back and turn them on. So I think we're going to go about there. And
baby, is it male? Are you doing something?
Split with ISO curve.
버니 속은 왠지 라뱅 위험하게 럼뷰제퍼 서서 위험론 마디레나 습관처럼 에임은
I see.
찾아 무서운 건 바로 너의 말투에 소름 끼치는 건 네가 웃을 때야.
Now I'm going to go in and soften these out, round them out, make them look a little bit nicer. I just want to kind of get the idea. I'm actually going to slide that over just a little bit. So let me do split, ISO curve. You guys will have to let me know if you'd like looking at it in all the colors, if you'd like looking at more in this gray tone, because I feel like a lot of people that watch 3D modeling on Twitch are typically used to maybe like a ZBrush modeler and not so much the Rhino modeler, and so this may feel a little bit more friendly to them. That place looks fine. Yeah, okay. Let me go. So let's see. I just want to get about the same placement. Gotta go. That'll give me about the same placement. Change the color. Oops. There, now I can see it. Okay, so we'll split it again with the ISO curve. And there. And there. And go ahead and hide you. And hide you. Looks pretty good. And let me split you with an ISO curve. I should make it exactly the same. Near snap, I don't want you. Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay.
완전히 취해서 숨 쉬는 것조차 잊어버린 나인데 아주처럼 색본이 한잔 눈을 뗄 수 시선이
Right. I feel pretty good about those. Those look pretty nice, actually. I like the spacing. I like the size because I don't want to have too many. I think I actually really do like the way this looks going into here. We'll go back into Arctic so you can see. Yeah, that actually looks really lovely. Cool. So now all I need to do is make them into a solid object, round them off, go in and adjust this just a little bit, round off my shank, cut the bezel, and that's it. Huh, it sounds like a lot, but that's not actually that many steps. That shouldn't take me too long to do. So yay! We're almost done with this ring. As you can see, you know, I took a little longer than I normally would to make something like this because I was kind of talking it through. And, you know, when I've got my friends in the chat, you know, my chat people, you know, I really like having you guys there because you ask really good questions. So, so I'll probably do just like a kind of a basic render on this. I am having some issues with some of my rendering because I was trained on how to render on a different software. And now I don't have access to that software anymore. And if I wanted to have access to that software, I think it's going to cost me like $1,000 to re-get my beautiful render software. So the best I have is kind of, it'll look a little bit nicer than this when I do my kind of I don't want to say it's a full render. It's like a half of render because it's not going to be quite as nice as my used to be able to do. So if anybody wants to buy me V-Ray for jewelry, I'm more than happy to teach everyone how to do beautiful renders again. But for now, you know, we work with what we've got. You know, sometimes you just can't afford to get all the software that you want. Software's not cheap. So, which is another reason I actually switched to Rhino from when I was using another software, Matrix, because Matrix costs, I believe, $7,000 and Rhino costs $1,000. So that's actually a really pretty big price difference when you're going to be, you know, especially when you're just starting out. Oh, yeah, I think one. I'm going to do one with two. So what I'm doing right now is, this is offset surface. What I've done is I've taken my single surface that I have and I'm making it into a solid by just having the computer go in and take that and moving the surface in a little bit and kind of giving me a solid. Do I like 1.2 or do I like 1.1 better? Let's see what that was again. Let's see. I think I did 1.1, or I think I just did 1 the first time. Oh, 1.1 looks nice. Yeah, this is looking like a piece of jewelry. So offset surface isn't perfect. Right now it's made this really weird surface in here, but I'm gonna go in there and fix all that too. This is just, oops, go like that again. There we go. Okay. We've got a few more people joining the stream, so feel free to say hi in the chat. Yeah, that software is really expensive, which is why I don't use it. But I actually, you know, minus losing my rendering software, I actually like using Rhino a lot better because I feel like it's made me a lot better of a CAD modeler because you kind of get these crutches when you were in the other software, the more expensive one. And you thought, if I can't do it with this one tool, then I can't do it. It's just a thing that it can't be done anymore. But that's not true. You know, the software is just a tool. And if it doesn't work, then you need to change your tool. And so now that I'm using Rhino exclusively, I feel like I'm much happier. I feel like I have a lot more control. It took a little time for me to figure out what I was doing and kind of getting back to feeling like I was confident in what I was doing again. But, you know, eventually that confidence came back, and now I'm streaming myself doing it, which, you know, not a lot of people will show their CAD, their modeling techniques. Jewelry's kind of it's an interesting industry where people don't always like to share what they've learned and share, you know, kind of how their process is on everything, which to me is very sad because, you know, the only way to learn is if someone teaches you, or if you go in and kind of try and do it yourself. And that way is very time consuming. And if you can just have someone who will take the chance to show you, you know, what it is that they do and how it is that they do it, then it's going to save you a lot of time. And I don't think it really is going to make, you know, the person sharing their skills, it doesn't make them look bad. I mean, maybe that other person will take some of your clients, but I mean, not really. It's such a small industry. We really need to kind of take care of each other a little bit better. And, you know, if someone's got a question on how to do something, not to be afraid to help someone. So that's my soapbox that I was just on. So if you join me for my Kelly on a soapbox, you know, we need to make education for jewelry a lot more accessible, because right now, if you want to learn how to make jewelry, you have to pay a lot of money to go to school for it. And, you know, then find a job afterwards where they might tell you to do something different. So it's kind of one of those things that, you know, as an industry, we got to be a little bit better about, you know, helping each other out. I think that looks fine. I'll show it to my client if she wants these a little bit thinner. You saw that it didn't take me that long to make those, and so it won't take me that long to make them thinner or add more of them. So I'll let her decide if she likes it. I think it looks great. I really like it. I'm really happy with how that is. I did rounding on here because to me, it just makes things look a lot cleaner. I might go in and cut this so it's flush. We'll see how I feel after I'm done with everything. So I'm going to go ahead and save because I am happy. And I go back to shaded. Go ahead and join these. Take these two. Put them onto the other side. Oh, wait. I don't want to mirror those over yet. He's fine. So I didn't want to mirror those over yet because, as you can see here, my supports are actually going into where my stones are. And that's because, you know, they kind of have to come up high to go flush with everything. So I just need to recut those. Unfortunately, I can actually use the cutters that I already have. Now, I'm going to give you a trick. Anybody watching, my lovely viewers, if you go and use the exact same cutters as your original cut, everything will line up perfectly, which seems like that would be what you want. But actually, when you go to do the Boolean union function, the computer will have a little bit of a problem with that. And so just a really quick, easy thing you can do is to just let's make a copy that is ever so slightly larger. I'm using my gumball to make a copy and also scale it up. It doesn't matter exactly the size on it. Just make sure you grab the ones that correspond to it. Overlapping. Oops. No. I don't need to change my language on my computer. Thanks anyway, computer. This will make it so that the cuts are just ever so slightly different than the original. And then when you do your Boolean union, the computer won't have a hard time unioning that together. Now, is it necessarily always going to have that problem? No, of course not. You can't guarantee you're going to have a problem every time. But majority of the time, I end up with this problem. And this has just been the quickest way that I found. If I just take a second before I get to the problem, now I'm just guaranteed that I won't have that problem. I don't have them overlapping. I'll have to do it again over here after I finish the shank, and I didn't do it on the point yet either. Because I didn't need to. But yeah, so now, you'll see that they don't match up perfectly, and so that's going to really, really help. So it's not a software bug. It's actually kind of funny. It's a mathematical anomaly. Gonna do a little bit of mathematics here. So a Boolean can fail for several reasons, and one of the reasons is coplanarity. That's probably a word in there. So when two things exist in the software in the exact same place, the computer doesn't know which one it should use. And sometimes the computer will take, like if there's like a point, that 2 points that exist in the same place, sometimes the computer will think that that point actually goes on for all of eternity. And so when it tries to do the math that it needs to get everything to go into one solid object, it doesn't understand what it needs to do there. And so it won't do it. So it's kind of it's a weird thing. So it's not necessarily the software that's having the problem. It's actually math. Math is having the problem, which is kind of funny. Can I cap this? Nope, I can't. I didn't think I could. I just wanted to see. All right. So what I'm going to do now, now that I've got those, I'm going to turn them off so they get out of my way. And I'm going to do my bezel first, and then I'm going to do the shank. So this should be pretty easy. Let me hide you and hide you, and I don't need these. Okay. So I want these to line up perfectly with each other. There's a couple of different ways that I can do this. How did I model this? Okay, good. I did it at a slight angle. Lately, I have been modeling my pieces so that they go at a slight angle upward, because this is going to have to be 3D printed. And if I'm going to have to 3D print it, which I don't think I'm doing this one, but if I were to 3D print it and cast it myself, it's really a lot better to have the, if you can, rain. Okay, so if you're going to 3D print this, it's best to have nothing facing down or nothing be perfectly flat, because then you can support it, print it from the bottom up, and anything that's going to be flat is going to need supports. Anything pointing down is going to need supports. So I always try to model stuff just ever so slightly facing upward, because if it is, it doesn't need any supports to it when you're going to print it. And so it's just kind of a good habit to get into. So it's a habit I have, and it's a habit I plan on keeping. So what I'm going to do, there's a couple of different ways I can do this. We're going to try extracting a surface and making a cutter out of that. So we'll try that one. So go ahead and save. And I will extract a surface, but this time I'm going to say copy yes, because I don't actually want to remove the bottom of this halo. I just want to make a copy of the surface that's underneath it. I only really need one side. So let me change your layer color. And turn this, off. Nope, I just turned everything back on. There we go. Okay, there we go. So now I have a surface. Now, depending on how this surface wants to behave itself, I'm hoping it wants to behave itself really, really well. I am going to extend this surface and make a cutter out of it. So I will come in and grab my extend surface. I can't grab this because I'm not in. Nope. I want ghosted. Grab that. Oh, yeah. Gorgeous. Let me go back to shaded so you can see what it's done. See, it's actually made a surface that cuts all the way through the bottom part of this bezel, which is beautiful. So I can alter this pretty quickly to make a full cutter and just do a Boolean difference, and everything will be, it'll be coplanar, but I want it to be in this particular instance. So So it's totally fine. So let me go in and trim away those. Join it together. I'll just do a quick loft over here. Join those together. Turn my bezel back on. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to show you another trick here that some people know, some people don't. I'd say it's probably a 50-50 split for people who know this trick in CAD. So traditionally, you can do a Boolean difference with another solid, but you can actually do a Boolean difference with a surface, and I mentioned it yesterday when I was doing modeling. So all you have to do is make sure that the direction is pointing in the correct way. So I'm going to check my direction on here real quick. So the arrows should point at the thing that you want to keep. And so these are pointing at the bottom. I don't want to keep those. So I just hit the flip button up here in the command line. Boom. Now I know that my arrows are pointing in the correct direction. So I can take this, grab my solid tools, do a Boolean difference. With that, it failed. Why did it fail? It failed over there. Because I didn't check to make sure that those were not overlapping and they are not touching. So this is why it failed, because it was like, wow, what do you want me to do here? And I'm like, well, very clearly I didn't tell you what to do. So that's fine. That's on me. I just need to come in, do a quick loft. Need to put loft in my favorite tools. Doop, doop, doop. Favorite loft. Lofty, loft, loft. Okay, join that together. I'm going to check my direction too, just in case. Sometimes when you join two surfaces, if one's going this way and one's going this way, it'll randomly pick which direction to put those arrows in. So I was just double checking. And they look good. So now that I've fixed that problem, I should be able to come in, do a Boolean difference with that. Beautiful. Look at that. All gone. I didn't want that there. Now it's gone. Boop. So if I turn on my halo here, you can see that these are going to flow perfectly into each other and go into my Arctic. But it's like they were one surface. It's like they were made that way. Perfect. Okay. So as I mentioned, I think I mentioned this at the very beginning. Oh, hi, just another lurker. Thank you for joining our stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just finishing up. I know you missed yesterday. We finished up the halo. Actually, we did it the way you suggested, and it worked out perfectly. And so yeah, so welcome, welcome. Feel free to, ask any questions. You give very good suggestions. So if I look like I'm struggling at all, please feel free to jump on in. Oh, yay. This kind of feels just like a nice way to hang out with friends while I'm working. Makes me feel a little less lonely. Because anybody who knows me knows that I am an extrovert. And so having working by myself lately, I get really lonely and I don't really like it. So it's nice to kind of come on here and have people that I can, chat with in my chat box and, kind of work and talk and, just kind of have fun and hang out. So I almost forgot to do one thing. I wanted to fillet these corners here. Let's do 0.3 and see what that looks like. And then and it's going to look weird for a second. It might actually totally destroy my surface, which sometimes it does, which is fine. And I just need to do it down here. There we go. There we go. Now it's just a little bit softer. So even when it comes up into this, I need to, did you end up? Oh, interesting. I have to redo that sweep anyway. So when I had done my adjusting earlier, it actually screwed up my surface and pulled my surface actually inside the finger, which there are lots and lots of ways to fix that, but I like to model everything correctly the first time. So I'm just going to redo my 2-rail sweep, which just in the lurker, if you noticed, I deleted my sweep. I know it's everybody's least favorite thing to do is to delete that sweep, but I'll tell you what, saved me a lot of time doing it this way. All right, let me go back in, fix this. And I also like to make my ISO curves all be perpendicular to I remember these words, to my rails. And so I'm just going to go in and just adjust that because it, you know, just makes me feel a little bit better about myself. Makes extracting ISO curves a little bit easier too, which I won't need for this one, but it's just kind of a good habit to be in. There we go. There we go. Now those are coplanar, which again might cause me some bullion union issues later, but if it does, we'll take care of those later. All right, so I think my last two steps are to cut the seat for the stone and the bezel and fix this transition, which, oh, just another lurker. Since you missed it earlier, we made these lovely supports on the side. Yay! And anyone who isn't in jewelry who's watching, just FYI, it's not going to be this thick and bulky at the top. When the jeweler goes to set the stone, they're going to actually push this over. So it's really just going to kind of come up probably to about here on the model once it's all finished. Maybe a little higher depending on what they want. So it's actually going to not look this quite this bulky once it's all finished. So let me go ahead and do this and do this. And we'll go ahead and finish up this part of the shank. I think I'm going to do a blend surface and see how that looks. And then I might cut it. There's all sorts of different ways to fix this little area. Oh, let's see. I've got this little curve here too. Okay, let's try a couple things. Let's see. Let me turn off you for now. Okay, I've got a edge there. I don't think I have one there. So for blend surface, I like to have a lot of control over what edges of my surface I'm using. So I'm going to come in and go to my edge tools and split the edge because this is going to be one edge and I want it to be two for how my surface is going to go. Let's go ahead and grab there. And then I can come over to my surface tools, blend surface. So grab, oh, I want to do chain edges. I'm going to do this and this. Nope. That one. And then enter to start my next set. And then you click on them in the exact same order. Otherwise, you'll have a lot of problems coming up. Okay, so let me see. Oh. Go away. You know, I think I'm going to allow that, and I think I'm going to cut it instead of trying to make it, because then I can have a real, because these ones kind of follow the shape already, and I want this to follow the shape too. So I'm going to cut it. So I'm going to allow it to look that ugly for a second. Go ahead and join those together. And then I'm actually going to come in and do and grab this guy, which if you remember him from earlier, that's how we made our supports. And I'm going to offset this surface, but I am going to do it not as a solid. Oops, I grabbed the wrong surface. Boop, there we go. I'm going to offset him. Solid, no. Let me see what a 1.1 looks like. Because that lines everybody up together, and that could be really lovely. And I think that gives me plenty of support underneath and on the sides there. Yeah, I think that should work really nice. Thank you, just another lurker. Yeah, I was trying to keep it as low profile feeling as possible. And so I felt, I could have come out and done like a, kind of a split shank around where the culet's going to go underneath here. But I felt like that would have made it feel a little bit higher. So I think this makes it feel a lot closer to the finger, even though it'd be exactly the same either way. But thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see. I want to hide you, and I want to hide you, and I actually don't need you guys right now. Okay. And I will turn you, hide this. Change your layer color. And come out and do, let's see if extend surface will work without me untrimming this. Sometimes it'll work and sometimes it won't, but I think, yeah, it should work because I didn't trim these sides. Yes. My beautiful cutter. And then let me just check the direction. There we go. Okay, do you remember what I said earlier? You want the arrows to point at what you want to keep, so these are wrong. So we'll go ahead and flip them. And then solid tools, Boolean difference. And we'll hide you. And bring back in. Gonna have to do a little cut at the top there. Oh yeah, he looks beautiful. All right, I have a question for the chat. Just kind of an opinion. Do you think that I should recut this lower rail to match up with my supports? Or do you think I should leave the lip? Or do you think I should round it? So, I mean, there's really no right or wrong answer for this question. I just kind of want to see how everyone else is feeling, because design is really much better when you are kind of in a community. I've never been afraid to ask for opinions on my designs, and I enjoy getting the feedback. So, you know, let me know what you guys think, if I should cut everything so that it's even on here, or if I should just leave it with a little lip. Whatever you guys think looks best, I will do. So, while we wait to hear about that, I will check everything else out. Great. I think now I will go ahead and cut the seat for my gemstone. And here, let me bring in my stand-in gemstone. Now, if you didn't join me for the first video, the very first stream we started this, this gemstone is actually not the correct gemstone for this bezel, because this is a custom gemstone, and so this is just here to make me feel better so that I can kind of see having a stone there. So I'm gonna have to do a custom cutter to cut this. I might even cut my original profile and resweep it too. So okay, let's see. We got a suggestion to round the inside top level. Now I was having some fillet problems earlier, so let's see if fillet wants to be my friend now. Fillet. Yeah, way to make me look good. All right, let me get a good angle on here. Let's hide this bezel. Okay, so this was a suggestion to round it. That already looks a lot better, doesn't it? Now, I had done the scaling by eye, so I think I did make it a little bit thicker here, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, so that's option one. Let me know what you think. I'll undo it for now, just in case we want to see another option. But you saw it worked really well, so I can go back and do that, you know, pretty quickly. Save it. I'm gonna do a screenshot of it with. Let's see how it looks in. I just really like looking at things in this Arctic view. I think. Oh, yeah, you know what? I think that just looks 100 times better already. Yeah, so I think it's either that or cut it. So I'm going to leave it like that for now. Yeah, I'm really a big fan of this Arctic view. I think it makes seeing how things are flowing together really, really easy. I might change it so it doesn't show my curves, because usually I don't need to see my curves when I'm going to be looking at something for continuity. Shaded. Okay, I already saved. So, what? Oh, we were gonna cut my bezel. So, I'm actually gonna come in. Oh, you know what? I can't resoup it because I already cut it. Ah, but I did save my cutters. So, I think what I will do is just change my profile here a little bit. re-sweep this bezel and then recut it. I think that'll be the quickest and easiest way to do that. So, go. Is it you? It'll be you now. So, let me hide cutters. Let me hide. No, I want to keep you, and I want to hide this. My Halo. Go away, Halo. Let me hide these. No, I think I need those actually. Okay, file and Control save. And I'm gonna go ahead and go to my curve tools, offset. Nope. I'm gonna explode you. Then I'm gonna offset you. Set. I'm gonna do 0.6. Look at that. I estimated that. That was like almost spot on, but I want to do a little bit more than that, so I'm gonna do 0.7. Oops. Because I'd like to leave it just a little bit thicker for my jeweler to have some room, since this isn't a perfect stone. Go ahead and draw you there, my little seat. And we'll come in and we'll trim away all my excess. Let's join that all together. Okay, it's all joined together. Let me hide you. See if I can find my curve. See if it's showing right now. I don't think it is. Gemstone, and should go away for a moment. Okay. Oh. Interesting. I cut it up, didn't I? Is this my original friend? Gemstone. Oh, no, wait. I need to check my picture. Yep, that's my original little curve. He just got cut in half. Let's join him together. I think I did this with a 1 rail sweep, so let's see. Otherwise, I do have the second one, but I know it's the shape's just a teensy bit different. So let me do 1 rail sweep. You. Well, that looks pretty good, actually. Yeah, obviously, you can see this gapping because, again, this isn't the right gemstone for it, but at least gives me an idea of what we're going with. Beautiful. Okay. You know what? Maybe I'll just make a render bezel while I'm here, too. So we're gonna switch to another layer. And we are going to copy you in place. Standard. Copy in place. And then we'll hide the original. We'll just go ahead and make this so that, because I will send her just kind of a quick render on here. And, you always want to kind of adjust your model to account for that. So let me go in and let's try you. No, I want this one. Oh, no, it's not how I do it. I'll do it this way. This way. Yeah, that should work. And we'll trim away this part. I might actually change this just a little bit because this would work fine usually, but because my gemstone's a little off, I'm gonna just turn my control points on and just pull these little friends forward just a little bit more. Okay. So let's go ahead and do my one rail sweep again. Sometimes if you know you're going to be doing a render, you might as well just go ahead and make the render version of the setting. I might end up going in and altering this gemstone a little bit too. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. Let's go ahead and save that for now. Okay. Turn him on. Turn him off. There we go. Oh, and I need to cut the top of him too. What can I cut you with? I think I can just make a square and cut that one off. I don't think I need to get too fancy with it. I think just a simple cube should cut that off just fine. So we'll go ahead and go to my solid tools. Corner. Oops. Nothing more than I need. Okay. We don't need to get too fancy sometimes with our cutters. You just need something that's basically going to give you what you want. Oops. It's just fun to keep turning those on. Go ahead and give you an angle. It is a knee over this a smidge. Maybe even up a smidge. Is that going to cut everybody? I should cut it just fine. So, bone difference. Okay, and now we can do that other trick that I showed you guys earlier with these cutters, making a copy just a little bit bigger and a Boolean difference, and then nothing will be coplanar once we're finished. There we go. No more shank problem. Everybody looks good. So that is a great question, Justin R. Looker. So a render version of a setting is something that you prepare sometimes ahead of time. Sometimes you do it just before you're going to do the render, where, you know, this is not realistic for what the piece of jewelry is going to look like once everything is set and finished. And so, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten lazy and just sent my customers the, you know, picture with the prongs sticking way up or the bezel way up. And I explained in my explanation, you know, hey, don't worry. This isn't going to look like this when it's done. It's going to look like, you know, I've even sent pictures of finished jewelry with people to be like, you know, this is what it's going to look like. It's not going to look this bad. And no matter how many times I explain it, they always come back and say, oh, I don't like it. It looks too deep. It looks too, you know, it looks too whatever. And oh, I should cut the bottom of this too. Did I cut my other one yet? Oh, I haven't cut either of them yet. And so the render version is just something that you put together so that, you know, when you do the realistic rendering of the CAD model afterwards, then you don't have to explain anything. The picture, you know, as I say, a picture says 1,000 words. And so you don't have to worry about being like, oh, it'll look better than this. Because, you know, people just can't imagine that if they never, you know, done CAD or anything like that. What am I doing? What am I typing? I can't type and talk, apparently. There we go. I want my little cutter. So, yeah. So I just prepare the same exact bezel, but as if a jeweler has already gone in and edited it. That way they know what it's going to look like without me having to explain why I was being lazy. Because then I end up having to do it anyway. All right. Alrighty. No, I had the render bezel. Perfect. That's looking pretty good. Let me put my support friends on. Move those over. That's looking pretty good. There's my other stones. Yeah, look at that. We're finished. I think a client should be pretty happy with that. we want to hide these fellas. We can turn off my gems. Put these all onto the same layer color. My gemstones back in. Ooh, we can actually switch my bezels. Oh, pet. Oh, it's green now. That's why. Come into just a quick rendered view. Obviously, my diamonds don't look that great, but here you can kind of really get a good idea of what we made. So, when I do go to do my kind of the better render on it, I'm not going to have you guys sit here and watch because it can take a while. This may crash my computer, so let's find out. No, it didn't crash it. Okay. So this is just a little bit of a better render. I need to go in and assign diamonds to my gemstones, actually. That didn't crash it, so I'm actually really happy about that. So let's actually go in and do that real quick since it didn't crash it. Select. No. What would you? Select objects. Come up to my properties. I already have a diamond pre-programmed on here. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. And then I don't want you to be an amethyst. Oh, okay. I actually want can I change the color from here? Again, this is kind of a newer render software for me, so it looks rose quartzy. Let's see if that actually updated anything. Oh, because it still has. Nope. The gemstone. Why are you a group? Lately, I've just been using glass to do it, which looks terrible here, but it looks okay here. Oh, that's too hot pink. Most quartzes are a little bit frostier. Nope, that did not do what I wanted. I think I just want to make you a little bit paler. Grayer. Oh, it automatically updates it as I'm changing the color on here? Ooh, that's something I just learned. That's pretty rose quartzy, actually. Yeah. I'm actually really, really happy with how that turned out. Cool. Yeah, so there it is. There's our finished ring. Cool. So once this is done rendering, it takes like 20 minutes. So I'll just kind of wrap up while this is going. Although it is making my video a little bit jumpy. So I will do this. There we go. Okay. Because that's really, really graphics card heavy. And so sometimes if you try to watch it render while then it's trying to render me moving, it just doesn't work so well. So. Oh, you know, just another lurker, you haven't seen Rose yet. So let me wrap this up with her here. Rosie. She's very easy to trick. Doggy. Oh, she's not that easy to trick. Rosie! Do you want a doggy? Nom nom. I was gonna try and finish this up with the dog, but she doesn't seem to wanna come and join us. Say goodbye. Rose! Oh, there she is. Yeah, we got it. Okay. Oh. You should know it's coming as a second go. Oh, she does. She's trying to hide. Okay. All right, Rosie, can you say goodbye to everybody and say thanks for watching? Here, let's Steve. Let's see you. Dog can. Dog can. All right, baby girl. Can you say goodbye to everybody and thanks for tuning in? So yeah, if you follow me on my social media, let me know what you want to watch me make next. I can, I have a couple other client things I can do. Oh, she just tried to steal the treats off of the desk again. She's a little tricksy. Say bye. Yeah, if you have any suggestions for what you want to watch me make next, let me know in the chat or on any of my social medias. I'll take everybody's suggestions into account, and we'll make something fun again. Possibly on Saturday, possibly next week, but I will make sure that I make an announcement so everybody knows the next time we're gonna stream. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.